Across the world of poultry breeding, certain bloodlines gain recognition not only because of their appearance but also because of their history, consistency, and influence on breeding programs. One of the bloodlines often discussed among enthusiasts is the Law Grey Gamefowl bloodline. But where did this bloodline come from? How was it developed? And why does it remain relevant in many breeding conversations today? In this educational video, we will explore the origin, historical development, breeding philosophy, and key traits associated with the Law Grey bloodline. This discussion is designed to be transparent, informative, and respectful of poultry breeding traditions while promoting responsible flock management practices. Understanding what a bloodline means in poultry breeding. Before discussing the Law Grey bloodline itself, it is important to understand what breeders mean when they use the term bloodline. A bloodline refers to a group of birds selectively bred over generations to stabilize certain traits such as body structure, feather color patterns, temperament, adaptability, growth characteristics. Developing a recognizable bloodline requires patience, consistent selection, and careful record keeping. Bloodlines are not created overnight. They are the result of long-term dedication by breeders who observe and refine traits across multiple generations. Early development of gray-based bloodlines. Gray patterned poultry has existed in various regions for many decades. Breeders were often drawn to gray feather patterns due to their distinct visual identity and perceived association with structural balance and adaptability. Over time, different breeders began working with gray-based birds, refining them according to their own breeding goals. This process eventually led to the emergence of several recognized gray families, including the line that would later become known as the Law Grey. The historical roots of the Law Grey name. The name, Law Grey, is believed to be connected to a breeder or breeding program that played a role in stabilizing this particular gray line. Like many poultry bloodlines, naming conventions often reflect breeder surnames, farm identities, regional recognition, or unique strain characteristics. As the birds gained recognition for consistency in appearance and development, the name became more widely used among enthusiasts. Breeding philosophy behind the Law Grey line. Breeding programs associated with the Law Grey line were often guided by principles such as selecting birds with balanced body proportions, maintaining consistent feather patterns, prioritizing vitality and adaptability, observing temperament and responsiveness. Rather than focusing on a single trait, breeders typically aim to develop overall structural harmony and reliability across generations. Physical characteristics commonly associated with Law Grey birds. Although individual birds may vary, some commonly observed features include gray feather coloration with patterned accents, upright and confident posture, medium to well-developed body structure, alert facial expression, smooth feather alignment. It is important to note that no bloodline guarantees identical traits in every bird, especially when environmental and management factors differ. Adaptability and environmental influence. Many breeders value birds that can adjust to different environments. Gray-based lines, including Law Grey, are often discussed in relation to tolerance to varying climate conditions, ability to maintain condition under routine management, responsiveness to feeding programs. Adaptability can be a valuable trait for breeders working in diverse locations or backyard setups. Role of Law Grey in crossbreeding programs. Over time, Some breeders have explored crossing law-gray birds with other established lines. The goals of such crosses may include combining structural qualities, improving consistency, introducing new feather variations, enhancing overall vigor. Responsible crossbreeding requires planning and observation to understand how traits interact across generations. Importance of record keeping in maintaining bloodline identity. Maintaining a recognizable bloodline requires documentation. Breeders often keep records of parent combinations, hatch performance, growth observations, trait consistency. These records help breeders determine whether their selection practices are moving in the desired direction. Misconceptions about bloodline purity. One common misunderstanding is the belief that a bloodline remains completely unchanged over long periods. In reality, bloodlines evolve due to selective pressure, environmental factors, breeder decisions, introduction of new genetics. Understanding this dynamic nature helps breeders approach bloodline discussions with realism and responsibility. Cultural and community influence. Poultry breeding traditions often grow through community exchange. Knowledge about lines such as law gray spreads through breeder discussions, farm visits, exhibitions, educational content. This shared learning environment contributes to the continued recognition of historical bloodlines. Long-term value of heritage lines. Heritage bloodlines represent more than physical traits, they also represent breeding philosophies and agricultural heritage. Preserving such lines encourages genetic diversity, responsible breeding culture, appreciation of poultry history. Breeders who understand these values often develop more sustainable breeding programs. Modern perspective on law-gray breeding. Today, breeders approach law-gray birds with varying goals. Maintaining traditional characteristics, improving adaptability, refining structure, exploring educational breeding projects. Modern breeding practices emphasize animal welfare, proper nutrition, and environmental management alongside genetic selection. Conclusion. The law-gray Gamefowl bloodline represents a blend of history, selective breeding, and evolving poultry traditions. Its continued discussion among breeders highlights the importance of understanding both the origins and practical realities of bloodline development. By studying heritage lines and applying responsible management practices, breeders can contribute to the preservation and improvement of poultry populations for future generations. If you found this historical and educational discussion valuable, like this video, subscribe for more transparent poultry breeding content. Share your knowledge or experience with gray bloodlines in the comments. Learning together helps strengthen the global poultry community.